Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, Randy.
Hi, Jamila.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Hi, Jamila.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How about you?
Good, good. Good to see you guys. I'm gonna see you tomorrow too.
You are. You're going to be tired of us.
Oh my God, no, I love to see you all the day.
Charlie, I forgot to ask, do you want to be introduced by Charlie or Charles?
Charlie.
Welcome, everyone. We're just going to go ahead and wait a few minutes and then we'll get started. But as individuals are waiting, please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat box. Okay, it's about 1:01. We'll just wait a few more minutes as people are starting to log in. Welcome to the people who just logged in. We are just asking individuals as we're waiting to feel free to introduce yourself in the chat box.
the instructions are there. I'm just gonna those 2 forms back right now, and then we're just waiting on that authorization. You're doing it on your phone. So what I would do is pull it up and you can fill it out. But then
Okay,
save
one more
it
minute and we'll go ahead and get started.
on your phone and then attach it to an email. All right. Thanks, Mariah. Okay. Bye.
Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and get started this afternoon. Again, welcome everybody to our G.R.O.W call with ACECC. We're going to start with some introductions. So my name is Randy Mendez, and I am the Director of Quality Initiatives with the Arapahoe County Early Childhood Council. On our call today, we also have our lovely early learning consultants. So you will see their faces as well. Just a few reminders that at the end of this call, there will be a Google Doc in the chat box for you all to complete and fill out so we can count for attendance and get a certificate sent to you for attending this call today. And then we also have a door prize. So please wait till the end because we have some awesome door prizes for your programs. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get started with our professional development updates from Arapahoe County Early Childhood Council with Holly Romero.
So I'm Holly Romero, and I'm the Program Support and Professional Development Coordinator for ACECC. I just wanted to give you a couple of PD opportunities coming up. So we will have our monthly G.R.O.W calls, and they will be held on the second Tuesday of each month, and they will be at the same time from 1 to 2 o'clock. And all of those you can register for on our website at acecc.org. We will have our last Shining Bright quarterly training. We're going to hold that in June on Saturday, June 5th. And then we will also have our annual quality forum coming up in May. So that will be Saturday, May 15th. And our focus is from the child's perspective, and it is every moment counts, and we will have lots of different breakout sessions geared towards social emotional development. So more information to come on that, and it will be on our website as well. We will also have our professional development calendar being sent out the first week of April. And that will include trainings through June. And I believe that's it.
Holly. So I'm going to now introduce our special guest for today from CDHS, Charlie Ruda. He's going to give us some information about the E&E grant, which is the Emerging and Expansion Grant. And go ahead and take it over, Charlie.
Cool. Thank you so much, Randy. So yeah, my name is Charlie. I work at CDHS. I'm a QRIS coordinator, and I work with Arapahoe County. So I'm just going to present about this new grant that's available. And if you have any questions, just feel free to shout them out or let me know. So let me go ahead and share my screen.
it's not secure.
Okay, so can everyone see my PowerPoint? All right.
And Charlie, before you get started, if we can just have everyone mute themselves, there's some feedback coming across. So while Charlie is, while he is preparing his PowerPoint here, if we can just all go ahead and mute ourselves. And if you have any questions, you can unmute at that time or put it in the chat box.
All right. So the purpose of this grant, it opened up, I believe you could start applying at the beginning of February, but it's been created for the purpose of expanding access and availability of licensed childcare throughout Colorado, but with an emphasis on where there are childcare deserts. However, the entire Denver metro area is basically a childcare desert. So, in terms of eligibility, there are two main entities that can apply. So it could be currently open and operating license programs that are serving children birth to 5 with a license who are expanding their license capacity or adding more infant and toddler spots. So if you're a family home provider and needed to get a different kind of license to add more spots for infants and toddlers, this would support that. Or if you're an applicant actively pursuing a childcare license through the licensing. I'm assuming most of those on this call are going to be that first pot, because if you don't have a license, you might not be as connected to the council. And then just a few follow-up notes on that. So if you have an outstanding violation, you need to meet those requirements before the funds can be awarded. And programs that receive 100% of funding from public sources, like a school district program or a fully funded Head Start, early Head Start, or fully funded Colorado preschool program, would not be eligible. So in terms of what will be awarded, the grant award ranges from $3,000 to $50,000 related to the expansion of the current capacity or the opening of a new program. The money can be used on pretty much anything that it will. Sorry, was there a question? The money can be used for pretty much anything that will help open that program. So coaching, including like mental health consultants, or like if you're opening up an infant and toddler room, infant and toddler coaching, for example, professional development. So that would be any costs associated with training and coursework needed to support the expansion of the program. And so that would also include training fees, things like that. Learning classroom materials and fees. So this is also where like the licensing fee would be considered this learning classroom material bucket. So it could be technology, this could be materials for the classroom, stuff to stock the centers, etc., cribs, all of that, any sort of furniture would be here too. And then capital improvements, so that's any construction costs for the construction itself would be included as well. Bids would be required to fund that kind of work. So briefly going through the requirements for those applying for a license, you would need to be 18 years of age, pass all background checks, apply for the license. You would need to agree to engage in the Colorado Shines rating by earning a level 2 within 12 months of being issued that permanent license. You would need to commit to completing an agreement to take part in CCAP, and then note that on your Colorado Shines profile. You would have to sign an MOU and then complete the application. We'll be talking about that in a minute. And then if you have an existing license, You would need to serve children between the ages of 6 weeks and 5 years. You need to agree to engage in Colorado Shines by earning a level 2 within 12 months or by June 30th, 2022. Commit to submitting an application for CCAP, and then of course fill out the grant for emerging and expanding. So the process, and I know Randy's going to talk about the council's steps in the process in a little bit, but what will happen after you fill out the application is a licensing specialist will approve the application. So it's always a good idea to get your licensing specialist, just kind of give them a heads up if this is something that you're wanting to be doing. Then you will fill out an application, and I will show you where. Once the licensing specialist approves the application, there will be communication sent to the council, and a budget form will be sent to the EC Connect management. So that's where the funding is going to come from. And again, Randy will talk more about this process and the council's role in all of this. Anything that is going to require capital improvement that will need to be done through the capital improvement module with EC Connect, and your coaches are there to support you through that as well. And then funding is going to be accessible through the GAE, and again, Randy's going to talk about that. But basically, you'll fill out an application. Licensing will either approve it or deny it or ask for more documentation. So like, for example, if you rent your building, then you would need a landlord's letter of approval, things like that. So, so just to continue on this a little bit, only one emerging and expanding award can be issued per license number. You are able to apply for any other QI in addition to this. So any sort of grants or any other regular Colorado Shines QI you'd still be able to apply for emerging and expanding. Priority is going to be given to underserved communities, but like I said, that's the Denver metro area would definitely be included there. And just an emphasis that there is going to need to be some coordination between you and your licensing specialist and your early childhood council, as well as that engagement in the CCAP fiscal agreement. So I have a little sample application here. I'm going to stop sharing and then open it up real quick again once I get this pulled up. Sorry, just want to show you guys what this looks like. All right. So here's a sample application. So you'll fill in your name and all of the, your identifying stuff. You'll be asked if you're working with your early childhood council, who that is, percentage of funding, where it's from, whether you rent or lease. And then just verifying the project is expected to increase license capacity and then by how much. Then it'll ask for the request, the funding amount that you're requesting, how much is going to be going toward coaching, materials, capital improvement, and professional development. So asking you to kind of break that down. If you'd be willing to receive a reduced award, and then just kind of verifying all the rest of these notes here. So it's a really easy application. And then I'll go ahead and show you sorry.
Charlie, I have a question.
Sure.
You talked about that the program or the individual needs to submit a budget spreadsheet or a budget.
Mhm.
Where do they find that? How do they access that budget?
There's a template on the application, and I have that. I have that in the slideshow as well. All right, here we go. So I'll show you what that looks like. Okay. So this is what the budget, that budget template looks like. So it's just you fill out this information, and then you just put in the amount that's requested, as well as a description of what that will be used for.
Can you share your screen with us?
Oh, it's not. Sorry. Okay. There you go. Can you see? Okay. Cool. So you'll just need a brief description of what you're going to be using that materials for. And I would definitely recommend working with the council to kind of talk through what they would think, how much some of these things cost, and where you would allot that. So I can't stress enough, the coordination with your council is going to make this process a lot easier if this is something you're wanting to do. All right, and then if you have questions, of course, you can always call the Colorado Shines Help Desk or email us cdhs_coshines@state.co.us. We're so excited about this. We really hope that you're able to take advantage of this opportunity. And really, if you have any questions, just let us know. But I think we're trying to make this as seamless as possible.
Sarah, were there any additional questions in the chat box?
No questions as of yet.
Okay.
So yeah, the budget template is available when you fill out the application. Oh, and really quick, let me also show you where you go to fill out the application. So when you go to coloradoshines.com, everyone's favorite place to log in. When you go to the login to QRIS, you will click here on this available grant. And you'll just need to sign in with your email address and your password, and it'll show you, right now, this is the only grant that's available here, but it's just right here on the coloradoshines.com when you log in.
And I just wanted to mention, if you don't have a Colorado Shines login, please reach out to the council. Holly, will you put the email contact information in the chat box for people? Because if you don't have a Colorado Shines login, then you won't be able to apply for the grant.
And I'm seeing a question from Mary. Is there a dollar amount per program type? No, we did not do that because we really wanted it to be based on that specific program's needs. So, you know, if you're wanting to open up a new family home and serve 8 children, and you might need, you know, a good bulk of that money, then we want to leave it open for that. So we really wanted to base it on all program specific needs.
Okay.
Are there any other questions or anything else I can take for now?
If you have any, please just go ahead and ask them in the chat box. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and review the process of how the council will be involved with the E&E grant. Just give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen.
I think one more question came in real quick, Randy. I just lost it. I think it was something like, could they be used if a playground was needed? Could funds be used? And that could be part of it. Like if you were wanting to open up a infant classroom or a toddler classroom and you didn't have an infant or toddler playground, then certainly they could be used for that. But just to build the playground, not for this unless it's adding those extra license spots.
Okay, well, this is a procedure agreement that Arapahoe County Early Childhood Council has created as being part of this grant. We also have a process. So after licensing has reviewed your application, like Charlie had mentioned earlier, we are communicating with them and getting this whole grant approved for your program, and then be expecting either your licensing specialist to reach out to you if they have questions about your application, and then the council will be reaching out to you as well. So like Charlie said, this is the E&E grant. The purpose of this document from the council is to support Arapahoe County child care providers and Arapahoe County Early Childhood Council staff throughout the application and completion of the Emerging and Expanding Child Care Grant Program. The processes below are what's going to be requested, and it's going to happen in 5 steps. So the first step is you will submit your request on the Colorado Shines website, which Charlie shared with you how to log into your website, your Colorado Shines login. You will then, the licensing specialist will review your application after you have completed it and approve or deny progression to the next step. And that's where they will communicate with us and let us know the process and where you're at in your application or what needs to be supported for you to get through that application. The application is then transferred to ACCC, which is us, so that we can assist with the completion. After we review the request, and either 1, sends it on to CDHS for approval, or 2, will work with the site to gain additional information or items needed to get it approved to the next status. We did want to mention if it's a capital improvement and it's in that request, the capital improvement module in EC Connect will need to be completed at this stage, and the council or your coach can support you on how to log into that. A capital improvement request must fulfill all requirements currently in place for a CSQI capital improvement grant. So there are some additional requirements for capital improvement grant and your quality improvement coach, or you can reach out to me and I can support you on what those requirements are.
Randy, there is a question where I know you can speak to. It says, what do you do if you don't have a coach?
Please email the website that Holly put in the chat box, and we will definitely get you connected with a coach and support you with quality improvement and funding. After all of that, CDHS reviews and approves the grant. So there are, some processes and steps that need to happen before you can get your work started. And that's what we're going to talk about next. So this is a reimbursable grant. No money will be paid to recipients until it is funded to ACC by CDHS. So please do not, we really, really want you to know, please do not begin work unless you have the cash flow to support it. It may take up to 45 days to be reimbursed for costs. So please communicate with me and keep in touch and let me know how it's going. And then we will let you know when it's okay to get the work started. Also, if you're using a contractor, submit the completed contract to ACCC as soon as it gets signed. That'll speed up the process to get the money reimbursed or sent to us so we can go ahead and get the work started. ACCC will handle all direct orders with approved vendors through EC Connect, and then only EC Connect approved vendors will be paid directly to ACCC. So all others will be reimbursed to the recipient. And then once the grant is approved by CDHS, again, like I said, please do not begin work until you are notified from the council. This agreement will be part of our process. So you will meet with me or Mandy, who is our Director of Finance, and you'll go ahead and get this signed and get some signatures, and then we can get going. Did I miss anything, Mandy?
I don't believe you did. I think you got it.
Does anybody have any questions? Are there any questions in the chat box?
There
Hi,
are.
Randy. Oh, sorry. Hi, Randy. This is Jamila. Is this process the one you show us? Is this before we apply the grant in Colorado Shine, or we have to contact you before?
Are you talking about the capital improvement grant?
No, the one you're talking now. Is it the capital one you took? It's not with the other, the ECC one?
It's separate, and then there's an
Okay.
additional capital improvement grant that you could apply for as well.
Okay, so we have to contact you before apply all those grants.
Yeah, if you are working with the council and you have a QI coach,
Uh-huh.
definitely reach out to them and they can guide you to the right direction or send you to me and I can support you on what grant you should be applying for.
Okay, thank you.
There is a question, Randy. I think you kind of just answered it, but it just says, do we have to contact a coach or have a coach before we can apply, or can we apply without one?
Charlie, you want to answer that?
Can you say that? Do we have to? Can you say that one more time, Sarah? Sorry.
Basically, do they have to have a coach before they apply? So do we have to contact a coach before applying? And it's coming from the same person who may not have a coach yet?
You do not have to have a coach before applying, but again, we definitely encourage you to reach out to the council to help support you. It's not a requirement, but it definitely would be helpful.
So I have a question. This is Renata. So I have a large in-home daycare currently, and I'm moving facilities and getting like my basement finished in the new house so that I can continue having a large in-home. Is that something that I can apply with this grant for, or no?
So if you are applying for a new license, then yes, that I believe that would be covered. Some of those fees and things like that could be covered under this grant, because if you're moving, then it would be a new license.
Okay, because it's going to be the same license number, but it'll have a new effective date and everything like that.
So if it's the same license number, then I think it would depend on if you're actually increasing the capacity with the move.
Okay, thank you.
Charlie, is there a way that you can share this PowerPoint with the council?
Yes, I'll send it to you, Randy.
Okay. I do have a question. So if a provider did not use the budget Excel spreadsheet and they submitted their own budget, will that work, or are we needing them to fill out that actual budget Excel spreadsheet?
I believe it has to be the actual Excel spreadsheet.
Okay,
Just so everything is consistent.
thank you. Okay, do we have any more questions? Okay, again, if you have any additional questions or want more information, please reach out to your licensing specialist or the Arapahoe County Early Childhood Council. Again, like I said, we are working closely with them because there is a process in place, and I think that's all the information we have right now. Reka, if you can go ahead and put the, yes.
Okay, I got it on mute.
Sorry. So I have a quick question for you. What if we have a classroom that is currently closed and we are trying to open it back up? Could we then apply since that classroom is closed without getting like, expanding our numbers or getting a new
Total
licensing
numbers.
number?
Yeah.
Because right now we have an infant classroom that is closed down due to the virus or the pandemic.
That is a good question. I
Are you
would
on mute, Coley?
No.
I would talk to your
Oh,
licensing specialist. They might
We
have
missed
more.
all of that. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, it's all good. I was just saying I would talk to your licensing specialist to see like if that really is expanding the program, or if those license spots are actually if it's just temporarily closed, like what that means in terms of this definition.
Ask them about, like, it's the schools where they have those tent buildings. If we were to put one of those on the property for school kids, for the school age program, would that constitute? It would increase our capacity, but does it constitute for a tent building like the schools have?
Did you hear that question by chance?
Yes. So this is for spots for 0 to 5. So
Okay.
school age spots wouldn't be considered.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Well, it would, because then the school age classroom we could make into a toddler room.
Right. So if it was adding more toddler spots, then yeah, that would be then you would be eligible. But it would have to make sure that was prioritized. And then yeah, if you still use that classroom for school age activities after like the program, then that's what you want to do with it. But as long as you're adding more toddler spots, then yeah.
Charlie, there's a question here. Jessica wants to know, does it matter how many kids you want to increase by? For example, if you change a room from a 1-year-old room to a 2-year-old room and you're only increasing by 4 slots, would this still be eligible?
Yes, it would be. It doesn't matter that there's not a requirement in terms of how many spots it would add.
Okay, Reka, will you go ahead? I think you already did. There are some more questions, but I just wanted to let everybody know that the Google Doc for attendance is in the chat box. So please complete it and fill it out so you can get credit for attending the G.R.O.W call today.
And whilst you're doing that, I think this might be more for Mandy and Randy. Do you have a good idea as to how long the review process will take? Maybe you as well, Charlie, then. Once you submit the application, will it take 30 to 60 days for review?
So in terms of the licensing specialist piece, it's really going to depend on the thoroughness of the application and if they have any questions or need anything else submitted. I know that they have been looking at the applications as they're received very quickly, within the week or so, but it just depends on how thorough the application is and if there's anything missing, because there might be some back and forth there.
I think I may have a question. Maybe I'm going to sound like I should have known the answer to this, but I know for the materials it's going to go through EC Connect. So in that case, that won't be reimbursement, right? Am I understanding correctly? Because you're not going to purchase them and then have money put in EC Connect. So is it different for different pieces of the grant?
Mandy, could you answer that one?
So Sarah, if yes, you're correct. If it's a direct purchase through EC Connect, then we would be paying Kaplan or Lakeshore directly for those purchases. If it's to a contractor for, say, some sort of expansion or capital improvement or something purchased out of pocket, That would be a check directly to the provider.
Okay, thank you. That helps then.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming today. I'm going to go ahead and do the door prize. So give me 1 second to share my wheel. Okay, just want to make sure I have everybody on here. There are some people that I know did not log in, so if their name is chosen, we will go ahead and re-spin the wheel. I guess I could share with you what you're actually going to win, right? That would be helpful. Well, let's go ahead and spin the wheel. Yay! We have a winner, NICABs. Congratulations. Let me share with what you will be receiving today. So NICABs, are you a family home provider or a child care center?
She's family child care, Randy.
Okay, okay. So this is what you'll be receiving. It's a wiggle seat, courtesy, and thank you to Kaplan for these items. So it's a wiggle seat, little sensory cushion, and a hand washing timer. Yay, hand washing timer.
Thank you.
Welcome. So Mary, I'll go ahead and reach out to you and we can go ahead and get that delivered to her.
Thank you.
Did everybody have a chance to complete the Google Doc for attendance? Okay. Well, thank you. That's all I have today. I don't think there are any more questions. Are there, Sarah?
There are no more questions.
Okay. Well, we got finished earlier than we had scheduled. Again, thank you, everybody. Have a good rest of your afternoon and reach out to your licensing specialist and connect with the Early Childhood Council if you are interested in applying for this grant.